Hello and welcome to this week's Talking Smack. I'm Drew Dusel, and with me this week are Peter Lidbetter and Stuart Fulbrook. Hello, boys.
Hello.
How you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. You alright?
Yeah, well, thank you.
Ah, good. I'm pleased.
I don't care about Stu.
What?
I don't care about Stu.
That's very nice. A very nice thing to say about Stu.
No, I'm alright.
I care
I'm
about
good.
you, Stu.
My spine bends.
So, let's begin with this week. I say it every week, we need a new name for this section. Previously. Since last time. So,
Previously on Talking Smack.
I've done that before, though. Back in the days when I used to make up stuff to go with the podcast.
I make up more stuff.
When I could be bothered. Can't be bothered anymore. Nobody listens to it anyway. Apart from Christian Douglas. He's listened to every single one.
Excellent.
And he's been telling me how brilliant he thinks they are. So,
Cool.
Our apologies, Christian, for you sitting through every single one that we've ever done. But in fairness to him, he's watched Humans because of it and said he really liked it, and he's going to watch The Princess Bride. So, Pete, pay attention.
Well, because of this podcast, I watched it, so that's
You still haven't seen Humans, though, have you?
No.
No, shut up then.
I've watched Daredevil, Director's Cut.
Yeah, but that was 3 hours of your life you could have done something good. Stu,
Hello.
what have you been doing since the last time we were here?
I have been watching the new series of Daredevil.
Have you now?
Yes.
Do you not think we should talk about that later?
We don't want to go into too much spoilers, no.
No spoilers, but
no
we should
spoilers.
talk about that later.
All right. I watched the trailer for the new Supergirl episode with the Flash in it.
Okay.
That looks like it could be quite fun. I'm not sure if it's going to be a one-off story or part of the main storyline. Can't really tell because I'm not up to date with my Supergirl, but I kind of want to watch that episode.
Yeah, I'm not up to date with Supergirl either. I mean, I'm on episode 4, but I'm up to date with Flash.
Episode 4? That's actually quite far in for you, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Name your sex tape.
From the trailer, do you know if it's... Are they going to do a crossover? Is it mainly Supergirl crossover? Or
I think it's all Supergirl. I don't think Supergirl's coming to the Flash. I think it's just him going there. So it's more like you said earlier, a special appearance rather than a kind of
a crossover.
Yeah.
It's a help me Flash, save my show.
Do you think that's what it is? Do you think he's going over there to boost the ratings?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because if that show had started off in like absolutely blitzed the ratings and everything else, they wouldn't have asked to have the Flash come into it.
No, true.
But it's got a second series anyway, so...
Damn it. That's more I've got to watch.
Gotham's got a third series.
Okay, I still haven't picked up any more from the first series of Gotham, to be honest. I kind of... Don't shake your head at me. That was a conscientious decision. It wasn't just because I'm rubbish.
I haven't watched any of... I've only watched the first...
Everyone keeps coming into the shop and going, oh, you should really pick it up again. The second series is so much better.
I want to pick it up and start again. I got as far as the mid-season break in season 1.
I think that's probably where I got to as well.
Yeah,
I just hated Fishy Mooney, which is not the name of my sex tape. Yeah, that's quite funny. So what were we talking about? Oh yeah, you were talking about that you'd watched some Supergirl trailer.
Yeah.
Is that it? Is that all you've done since the last time we were
Well, I'm
here?
not allowed to talk about what else I've done.
So you've only watched Daredevil and one trailer in 2 weeks?
Where did you go at the weekend?
I went to Medway Film and Comic Con.
Oh,
There we go. I know more about him than he does.
Obviously. It's lucky one of you knows what he's been doing.
Yes, I went to Medway. Really, really well organised little convention. Bit different. It had live wrestling there, which is something you don't normally see at conventions.
They had live wrestling at Capel.
Did they?
which was the Mark Miller comic convention a
Oh,
few
right.
years back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the proper like Mexican wrestling.
Mexican
Awesome.
wrestling.
Yeah,
Right, the Lucha Libre style with the...
they were wicked.
We should do a convention and have mud wrestling. Yeah, I'm taking it up another level.
You dirty bastard.
What is it Rimmer says? He couldn't have looked more happy if you'd given him 2 girls wrestling in custard and then removed the girls and handed him a spoon. Yeah, so it was a good convention.
It was, yeah. Really good. Really good atmosphere. Got to meet a couple of lower list celebrities, but still you get to spend a little bit... The nice thing with these local conventions, you get to spend a little bit more time with them and actually have a chat rather than these big money-making ones where you just get moved on straight away. So it's always... yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it. I got to meet Boise from Only Fools and Horses.
What's his real name?
John Chalice.
All right. Just wondered if he knew, and he did, which was quite disappointing actually. I was hoping he didn't. So that was Medway. Whereabouts is that?
Gillingham in Kent.
Okay.
So they're doing it again next year, and it's going to be bigger next year. They've got 2 halls rather than just the one. So looking forward to see what they do next year.
Bigger wrestling ring.
Bigger wrestling ring. Yeah.
Custard ring.
We could ask them.
Yeah.
Put it forward as a suggestion.
I think if we had a listener's poll as to whether they would like to see custard wrestling, I think we'd probably find that our one listener would quite approve.
We should do it for charity. Just get Paddington, fill it with custard and get Stu in there. And he could wrestle himself.
I don't know where to go with that at all. Anyway, so
wrestle
Pete,
myself.
yeah, I just don't want to think of Stuart wrestling himself in custard. That's just don't go there. So, Pete, what have you been up to since the last time you were here?
I've been cracking out a lot of posts on the social network, all the social sites. Been trying to drum up a lot of stuff with that. Been doing a lot of the Superman, Batman profile pics.
Yes,
Obviously, they've been doing pretty well.
they have. Do you want to explain?
People from all over the world.
I know, it's been quite cool.
Yeah, it's been fun.
For those of you who don't know...
Yeah, go on then.
are you going to say... Okay, go on then.
Oh, me?
Yeah, you can.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, yeah, for the listeners that don't know what we've done so far, I've created a profile pic sticker where you can send us your Facebook profile pic or any photo and say which team you want, either Superman or Batman, and then we can make it into your profile picture with your team support. So I've done probably, how many have I done for you? Probably about 25 for you?
Done a fair few for me, yeah.
Loads for Stu and all his friends. He keeps
Oh, right. I thought
stuff,
Stu just had 25 different profiles,
They
which
are.
would make sense, to be
He's
fair.
got 25 different
Because
pictures of him.
he's got 25 different dodgy accounts.
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Are you Selena?
Yes.
Stop poking me. But yeah, they're all over the world. We've had people from America. There's a guy from China.
Yeah.
Who's sent around a request just going, hello, can you Team Batman me? So off you go.
Well, not from China, because they haven't got Facebook out there. So it must be somewhere near China, maybe.
It was, well, he said he lived in China. But I guess, again, it's just a profile, isn't it? They could say that they live somewhere and...
Yeah, he's a liar. He probably lives... It's probably your mum.
It's
Trying to make you feel good. It's probably Stu, one of his many aliases.
One of my 25 profiles.
He's only set all them up just to make you feel good, Pete.
Yay. But Batman's been the popular one.
Wow.
Out of the two, I thought it'd be quite evenly matched, but Batman's just wiped the floor with Superman with his profile pics.
I bet that changes when it comes out and Ben Affleck's a twat.
This weekend?
Yep, this weekend.
Yep, got my tickets.
I
I go Saturday.
Can I get a Team Aquaman profile picture?
I can do whatever you want.
Oh, excellent.
What about Team Wonder Woman?
I can do Team Wonder Woman.
Can you?
Yeah.
I've heard that about you.
I can do what was it? A Team Feig
Team Fee.
for you, yeah, with your Ghostbusters logo.
I want. I noticed that Warner Brothers have ripped off your idea and started doing it on their own version, but their versions are crap. So fuck off, Warner Brothers.
We got the team Stark and Team Cap ones ready for after this film as well.
Yeah,
so.
for Civil War, so people can start asking for those.
And then after that, you'll have to have Team Turtles and Team Shredder.
We could do whatever they want. People just need to go.
Every movie
ever released.
Team Princess Bride. Bosh logo. Team Do You Want a Peanut?
Anyway.
Team Daredevil. Team Punisher. Team Aquaman. Team Flash.
Are you just going to randomly sit here chucking out Tourette's names all night long now?
No.
Okay, good. Well, I have been reading some comics. Again, I know it's a miracle, but gets lonely in the shop. And what else have I been doing? I've been finishing off playing the remix trilogy of Uncharted. I'm just up to the end of the third one now, and have to say, in my opinion, that it's probably the greatest game trilogy of all time. Soon to be a quadrilogy. But it's definitely, if you don't own a PS4, it's worthwhile getting one just so you can play them, because it is really that fucking good. I've forgotten quite how good it is, but
That's a bold statement. Go out and get a PS4 just for this.
Trust me, the second game in Uncharted is probably, it takes between 12 and 15 hours to complete, and it's probably the best game ever made, I would say. Not the longest, probably not the most intricate, but it's got the best script, the best voice acting, some of the greatest action, and some of the just most lovable characters in a game of all time. So Nathan Drake is just brilliant. So yeah, I quite like that game. Don't know if you noticed. I've been trying to get a shop move sorted out, which is proving to be a little trickier than I was hoping, but things are progressing quite nicely with that. And like you guys, I binge watched quite a bit of, like Stu, I binge watched quite a bit of Daredevil, and we'll go over that in a bit. But yeah, so I have mainly been reading comics, so I'm going to talk about a couple of them, I think, and we'll do that now. The comic I want to talk about mainly, this week, just gone, saw the release of International Iron Man #1. And I'll be perfectly honest, I haven't really read a lot of Iron Man. It's not been a character that's ever particularly appealed to me. But I thought, new #1, be interested. It'll be good to know what's going on. So I thought I'd read it. And then you've read it, haven't you, Stu?
I have.
Yeah, and it's, I don't know, it was a bit of a funny start. I quite liked it. I quite liked the art style and the writing. It had some funny bits in it though. There's Americans and their knowledge of UK geography just makes me laugh. Even though it's peculiar, because they've researched it enough to know that a football team in the UK sings "I'm Forever Blowing Bubbles," but they haven't researched it enough to know that Cambridge University isn't in London, which makes me laugh, because he's going to Cambridge University in London. I think you'll find that Cambridge University is in Cambridge. It's not the first time that the Americans have been a bit suspect on their geography of the UK, because I remember watching Nikita, and they were meant to be in the UK, and it said, "We're going to take them to Canvey Island." And they drive for a little while, and they end up in this beautiful forest cliff face, like with all this grass everywhere. I was like, "You've never been to Canvey Island, have you?" Because that's just hilarious. Anyone who hasn't been to Canvey Island, trust me, it doesn't look like a forest with a cliff face, which looks suspiciously like Canada, funnily enough. And then there was other bits like they would just stick a random underground sign somewhere in a street that so blatantly wasn't in the UK. There's a load of brownstones and then an underground sign. You're like, no. But yeah, so International Iron Man. I thought the story was kind of cool and quite interesting because it's kind of obviously setting him up because it's a
flashback to his college years, isn't it? Really,
yeah.
I like. It's written by Michael Bryan Bendis, who's doing the current man on the Miles Morales Spider-Man as well.
Yeah,
and I really like his writing style, and I did enjoy it, but it's an Iron Man story where you only really see Iron Man in the first and last panel of the book.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know whether the rest of it will all be flashbacks as well.
No.
Or whether that's just kind of setting the scene for why he's actually where he is.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting, and
I definitely want to read the next one.
Yeah, I think so. But they do need to kind of bone up on their. I mean, I wouldn't profess to know obviously a lot of the stuff about America, but then I'd shy away from actually writing it.
If you're going to pick somewhere and write about that area, you would try and get it right.
Well, surely the fact it's called Cambridge University would give away that it's not in London. And even, I mean, we know that Yale is a very big university in America, the same as they know Oxford and Cambridge are over here, because a lot of Americans go to Oxford and Cambridge. So it wouldn't take me long. I mean, I'll be honest, I wouldn't know where Yale was, but it wouldn't take me long on a Google search to be able to find out.
Not just that, but in a room full of people, you just stand up outside your booth and just go, where is it? Someone's got there. Well, I'm just thinking like in the Marvel office, they've probably got little booths where they kind of do all their stuff.
Or maybe they just went, we ain't got a fucking clue where Cambridge is.
Because they go from being in like in a room in Cambridge University to being on the bank of what I'm assuming is the Thames.
It looks like the Thames. Yeah. Well, but the thing is, they're not in a room in Cambridge University because everyone's singing West Ham football songs.
That's true.
And they're talking about it being a London football team.
Yep.
So yeah, I don't know. It's but the fact that this is what confused me is because they've obviously researched it enough to know that a London football team's fans sing "I'm Forever Blowing Bubbles," but they didn't get round to the fact that Cambridge isn't in London. Yeah, but anyway, hilarious. I love it when that sort of shit happens. It just cracks me up. And I read the first issue of Airboy, which is a 4-part series, which I think 1, 2 and 3 are already out. I'm just waiting for 2 to arrive in the shop so I can read the rest of it. It's only a 4-part series. That wasn't what I was expecting in any way whatsoever. But it's a very interesting premise in the fact that the story is about the writer and the artist, who are actually the writer and the artist, trying to figure out how they're going to create a new Airboy comic because they've been asked to by Image. And it just goes off on the most peculiar kind of Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas kind of peculiar storyline. I was reading it, expecting it to be a kind of tale about like Biggles, and all of a sudden there's loads of cocaine and shagging and all sorts going on in it, and I was just like, well, that's not what I was expecting, but absolutely brilliant. I thought it was really funny and really good, and quite self-effacing from both the writer and the artist. Don't know how closely it reflects their lives, but I'd like to meet them to find out because they look like they could be good fun. So yeah, that's what I've been doing.
It's quite a nice art style as well. I had a quick flick through the book.
Yeah, it is. It's really cool. Just the whole thing is just unexpected, and I'm just, well, I say it virtually every week, but I'm just loving the Image stuff at the moment. They're just creating so many cool books.
It's all creator-owned stuff, really, with Image, though, isn't it? The creators get to do what they want. They don't have to follow, like the party line, like the Marvel and DC.
Yeah, they cut their own path, and they allow the artists and the writers to kind of express themselves. I mean, there must be there must be stuff that's kind of off limits, but then no, there can't be really. Not going by Airboy anyway. But yeah, worth a read if you haven't picked it up, and I would suggest that would be worthwhile. So let's move on to TV, and let's talk about obviously what has kind of lit up the internet over the last 7 days, and that's Netflix's release of Daredevil Series 2. And how many episodes are you in, Pete?
I finished watching episode 10 today.
Did you watch episode 1 first, or just watch episode 10?
I watched all the way through from 1 to 10.
Excellent.
Have you bollocks?
I have.
What?
Yep.
No way.
Yep.
I don't believe you.
Surprise, motherfuckers!
That's not a surprise. That's a shock. And you? How far have you got?
Episode 8.
Oh, right, okay. I'm fucking miles behind.
What?
I've only seen up to episode 5.
All the shit you guys give me.
It has only been out since, what was it, Friday? Yeah. It's only Wednesday today. Tuesday today. It's not even Wednesday. I don't know what day it is. Some of us have to work for a living. Don't all get to sit around watching TV shows all day long. So, what do we think?
Really good.
Better than the first series?
Yes. For me, definitely, yeah.
I'm going to say no. I think it's more around the other two characters, I feel, in it rather than Daredevil. I think it's more Punisher and Elektra based than Daredevil based. Don't get me wrong, the end of episode 3 is fantastic. I won't say what happens, but that's one of the best scenes I've seen in television.
Ever.
Yeah.
Certainly one of the most cinematic scenes in a TV show that I've ever seen. It's just, it did have me actually sitting there wide-eyed with my mouth open, just going, "Holy shit, that's amazing!" So, Pete? What do you think of the Punisher?
I really liked him,
right?
But I know Stu's already said that there's something about him that doesn't click. I really like the way that they've portrayed him on the series, but for me there's just something that lacks that kind of military cleanliness.
Yeah, he's not. Yeah, I can't put my finger on it. There's just something that doesn't. I don't 100 with the Daredevil character. I'm 100%. That's Daredevil. There's just something about Punisher that's not quite clicking for me yet, and I can't quite put my finger on it. But maybe by the end of the season. Series.
Don't say seasons in this country, my friend. I really like him. I think he's probably the closest thing to the actual Punisher that we've actually had in any kind of rendition other than the comics. I think that he brings a depth to the character which has been sorely missing in a lot of the other kind of cinematic kind of versions of him. He's a good actor, which helps. And I think that he's not quite big enough, which kind of...
I think it's something in the look more than it... The way he portrays him's excellent.
Yeah.
You've kind of get that heartbreak, that feel of loss from his family from him. But it's just, there's something in the look that isn't quite right for me.
I think he's not big enough. He's not... His shoulders aren't square enough, but then... He's probably about 6'3", and if I ever met him, I'd shit myself. So I'm not going to say too much. So, I can't complain about people not being big enough, can I? Really, let's be honest. And Elektra, Stu, what did you think of Elektra?
I quite like Elektra. I think, yeah. I'm kind of feel like I was saying. I kind of feel like Elektra and Punisher are taken away from Daredevil a little bit in this series, and I think one of the reasons I prefer the first series is because of the Kingpin.
Right.
And the same with Jessica Jones. Obviously, you had Kilgrave. There's not the bad guy in this series that they've had in the other two series so far.
Oh, so there's no set villain?
Yeah, I can't. Because Kingpin was arguably one of the best things about the first series of Daredevil, and Kilgrave, for me, was the best thing about Jessica Jones. So it's a bit with no...
I think, they've got to... I quite like the fact that they're introducing these other characters, because they're obviously going to be dipping these characters in and out of... They might turn up in other shows. How many, I guess, apart from Bullseye, how many other real enemies does Daredevil actually have, though? That's the thing. I mean, it is generally just Kingpin, isn't it, really? So...
The Owl.
Huh?
The Owl.
You can call me Al.
No, the Owl.
The Owl.
Yeah, that's was one of his villains. Obviously takes over from Kingpin.
That's true. But there'll be another series as well, won't there? So, you've got...
I thought so.
I mean, I like the fact there's no villain. It kind of every TV series you watch, you get your hero. They start building towards this whole epic battle with the villain. The whole series is based on the good versus the evil. Whereas in this one, we've got no actual villain in front of us. We've just got a TV series with a storyline about these characters and what other struggles they face in real life.
Are we still talking about Daredevil, or are you talking about Hollyoaks again now?
No, still talking about Daredevil.
Oh, right, okay.
Because I've watched issue.
I kind of get the feeling that this series is more about Matt Murdock than Daredevil.
I would just like to point out that Pete said I've watched up to series 10 while holding 2 fingers up, which is like, yeah, okay, Pete. 10's that.
More than...
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to do.
Oh, yeah, that's more like it.
Yeah.
Pete put his fingers up at me. What a rude bastard. Sorry, what were you saying?
I
think it's more about Matt Murdock.
This is more of a Matt Murdock series than a Daredevil series.
Well, I think the difference is that Daredevil is now established, whereas the first series was all about him finding Daredevil within him, really, wasn't it? And setting up his history. So it was all about that character. I guess you couldn't really repeat that. And if you were to have just essentially another baddie, it would be a whole series of him beating up the baddie's henchmen to get to the baddie at the end, which is what Pete says, that whole... So this one gives you a clever interplay between 3 different characters. So...
I love it. I think it's wicked. I think for me, at the moment, the first series is better.
Because you want to bring the Kingpin back, so your new cosplay will still
be...
Exactly,
I want the Kingpin to be relevant.
Well, I mean, I'm loving it, and that, without a doubt, that end of end of episode 3, it was just absolutely phenomenal. Made the hallway scene from the first one it just pissed all over it. Yeah. So, yeah, absolutely incredible. So, I think, we won't. I mean, I think we've talked about that quite a lot without really giving away any spoilers as to what's happening, which is good. And it's been a big thumbs up from everyone.
Definitely, worth it. Yeah.
Certainly whets the appetite again for Luke Cage,
which had its first little trailer,
which was quite teaser.
Good. Yeah, its first trailer was brilliant, actually. And then obviously we got Defenders after Iron Fist, which has now been cast.
Yes, as Finn Jones.
Which caused a bit of uproar, but seemed a bit weird considering that's how he looks in the comics. In fact, if you actually look at Iron Fist and then look at Finn Jones, it's actually a pretty good bloody casting, to be fair. I mean, like I said before, it would have been quite cool had he been Asian, just because you could have picked an actor who probably would be very good at kind of martial art. Not saying that Finn Jones might be a fucking ninja for all I know. It's just
look at Charlie Cox.
Yeah, how much of it is actually Charlie Cox though? This is the thing. But then I guess you could say the same thing. They could just get do a Power Rangers.
Again, it's all choreographed, isn't it? So they're directed at how to do it. So
yeah, I mean, but then so was The Matrix, and Keanu Reeves didn't manage to make that look good. So it purely depends on the actor and the sort kind of whether they have, I mean, it might be, like I say, that Finn Jones is a bloody ninja for all we know, and he just might be brilliant. So it's interesting that Netflix tend to use a lot of British actors in their Marvel stuff, isn't it? So
there's hope for us yet.
Yeah. You'd make a good ninja.
I would.
Yeah.
Stealthy, I'm so quiet.
You are. Amazing. So let's move on. And I think it's going to be time for this.
You're asking for a smack.
Yes, by popular demand, we've brought back the our new series where Pete has chucked out yet another request for questions from our wonderful audience. And you got a couple, I believe.
Yeah, both of them replied.
we got 3 people.
We got 3 people, right? Okay. Yep. So, let's go for it. Off you go. I mean, have you actually got your iPad with you today?
No. No, but I mean, one of the questions came in later on today. Obviously, we've just talked about Daredevil.
Right.
So while it's still fresh, Craig Aylan from Facebook asked, with Daredevil being so dark and gritty, do we think they could make it into a movie?
Do they need to make it into a movie, I think is the question I'd need to ask Craig.
Well, they're talking about obviously bringing Daredevil possibly into Avengers Infinity.
Right.
And there are talks of, it doing so well, could they make it into a movie?
I thought The Defenders was going to be a movie rather than a show.
No, it's going to be a series.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it'll be once there's been the second season of Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist, then they come together for the Defenders series, which will be awesome. I would say that the production values on the Netflix shows is so high, I don't think it really needs to be a movie. I'd rather have 13. I mean, you could watch it as a 13-hour long film if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Quite easily. I think that I mean, I've said this before as well. I'm having trouble weaving the cinematic universe and the Netflix universe together, even though they're supposed to occupy the same space, because of the fact that it is so much more mature in terms of its content than the Avengers or Captain America or whatever else. So it would be a bit peculiar for them to ever actually really cross over. Well, I guess the idea is Infinity War, they're going to have everybody, aren't they? So
supposedly 67 different characters.
Yeah. So that's over 3? Is it 2 movies? Infinity War,
movies.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah, part 1 and part 2.
Yeah. So, what do you think, Stu?
I think it could work. I don't think it needs to be done.
I mean,
Right.
I think it could work. But yeah, doesn't need to be done. I mean, from what I've seen so far of season 2, I think if they turned it into a movie, they would spend more time rushing it through the storyline, rather than taking the time to develop the characters and the actual story itself like we've had.
Would you like to see Daredevil in the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
Yes.
Yeah, I would.
And do you think he would fit in?
More so than Jessica Jones.
See, I think Jessica Jones is actually a superhero, though. She's actually got powers. And, yeah, even if the TV special effects did mean that she looked a bit rubbery when she was bouncing around the place. So I think, yeah, I don't know. I find it a little bit weird that they occupy the same universe. I really do. I find it's kind of like a bit, well, because it's so adult. You can't imagine half the shit that's happened in Daredevil suddenly popping up in Civil War. Do you know what I mean?
True.
I don't know.
Body count in Daredevil.
Iron Man took a bit of a beating from Cap and Winter Soldier.
but it wasn't impaling his head on a spike
No.
or having his head crushed in a car door.
I thought Jessica Jones was pretty graphic.
Yeah, I mean, the whole both of them have been pretty hardcore. And the thing is, if they
Daredevil's been a hell of a lot more graphic than Jessica Jones and the original Daredevil.
But what I'm thinking is that if he was to appear in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, it's going to have to be in the 12A bracket. And does that then encourage kids to hunt out watching Daredevil on Netflix because they've seen him in the films, and then expose them to a load of content that they probably shouldn't see? I'm finding it difficult to reconcile the two universes and wonder whether actually what DC have done is probably a little bit more sensible. But then DC have done, but then DC have done it completely the other way around. Yeah. Their TV stuff is actually the stuff that is kind of accessible to everyone, and their movies, well, we'll reserve judgment, but so far haven't exactly been great as far as I'm concerned. But we'll see. Batman vs Superman could be good. Okay, so there you go, Craig. We don't know is the answer, which is pretty much the answer we have to every question. So what's the next one?
Yep.
People's Pete?
Yeah. The next question was by Jason Biles, and he asks, what's our favourite crossover event and why?
Okay.
Now, this one kind of had me thinking for a little bit, because I tried to then work out what kind of a crossover we could, talk about. Are we talking a crossover between
Dressing?
No,
Not cross-dressing.
no, not cross dressing.
Oh, right, okay.
Not what you do on a Friday night.
That's my favourite crossover.
Yeah, me too.
But I'm thinking, could we use Marvel and DC crossovers? Because I've done a couple of comic variations of that. Or are we just talking about Marvel crossovers? So,
I think
like the Punisher team up with Spider-Man.
I think any crossovers, because I've got a brilliant one.
Go on then.
Spider-Man versus Ren and Stimpy was one of my favourite crossovers.
Really?
The Amazing Spider-Man and Ren and Stimpy appeared in a comic together, and Spider-Man battled Powdered Toast Man, and proved to be a very interesting crossover, and it was actually written by none other than Dan Slott.
Oh,
Wow.
excellent.
So it was so there you go. That's a crossover for all eternity.
That's amazing.
You also had a couple of peculiar ones. There was Archie versus Predator.
I saw that on AVP.
Yeah.
I've seen that one before.
And Archie versus what was the other one? There was another Archie. Oh, Archie meets the Punisher was another one. Yeah. So there has been some brilliant crossovers, but I'm sorry, Amazing Spider-Man versus Powdered Toast Man is my favourite of all time.
Hands down, that's your favourite.
Absolutely, without doubt.
Fine.
So anyway,
I didn't even think of that.
what?
I didn't even know it was out there. I didn't even think about that.
What amazing? Yeah, there was an Amazing Spider-Man thing you didn't know about.
Yeah.
I've taught him something. Yes, so that's what I'm going with. But I know there's loads of others. Stu?
Well, there's an episode of the Power Rangers that's got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And obviously one of the best crossovers in comics at the moment is Batman Turtles.
That is a good crossover.
Which is really good. But for me, in 96, 97, Marvel and DC joined forces to do Amalgam Comics.
Yep.
Where they took one of their Marvel characters, one of the DC characters, sort of merged them.
Yeah.
So you got the Batman, Wolverine, Darkclaw, which was really cool.
Yeah.
They had Lobo the Duck, which was Lobo crossed with Howard the Duck.
Lobo the Duck. That's amazing.
Doctor Strange Fate, which was Doctor Strange crossed with Doctor Fate. Amazon, which was Storm crossed with Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
And they were some really, really fun stories and some really good characters as well. I still love the look of Darkclaw.
Yeah.
Phil.
There's the Amalgam stuff was actually really cool. So what about you, Pete?
Well, I mean, obviously, I really love Marvel, so I kind of stuck more towards the Marvel crossovers, which is the characters. But
Yeah.
I'm going to change I'm going to go with Stu. I've really enjoyed the Batman Turtles storyline.
Okay.
I really didn't think it was going to work. So much so that I now want to look at going back and seeing the Ghostbusters Turtles storyline, seeing how well that would work.
I mean, there's been a lot of interesting crossovers, really. Batman and Superman versus Aliens and Predator was another one. That was a 2-part trade, I think, if I remember rightly. I think it was a 2-part book. Right? I don't know whether it actually was it. Don't know. I'd have to check that, but I can't remember whether it was actually a comic run or whether it was just a 2-part trade. I think it might have been just a 2-part trade.
There's a Batman Spawn crossover as well, isn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's quite a few. Well, I'm sticking with my original Amazing Spider-Man verse. I love the fact it's versus Ren and Stimpy. I just think that's amazing. And Dan Slott. I mean, come on, you can't go wrong with that, can you? Really?
That surprises me, actually. The stuff that I've been reading of his.
Yeah,
I
know.
Say that.
Exactly. This is it's brilliant. And so you're going with Amalgam Comics, and you're going with Batman and Turtles.
Yep, I was completely blown away by that storyline. I'm looking forward to finishing it off.
Name your sex tape. So who was that? Jason Boyles.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks, Jason. We actually answered that, but we still don't know. And have we got another one?
We've got another one, but I don't really want to discuss that yet because that would give away spoilers for The Walking Dead. Now, I know you guys don't watch The Walking Dead,
Right.
but we are coming up to some really, really crazy shit towards the end of this season.
Right. Okay.
And I don't want to give... Even just saying the question will make people start questioning what's going to happen. They might go and look online and be giving away too much.
Right.
So unfortunately, I'm going to leave the third question for now.
Okay. Wow. Oh, mystery. Ooh. So whoever answered that question, sorry, but you need a better question next week. Okay. Well, thanks, People's Pete.
You're welcome.
Your new segment is mightily awesome. Okay, so let's move on, and we're going to do a little bit of a preview of Batman versus Superman. Pete has one of his amazing fan theories that has yet to get any of them anything like they were going to be what actually happens in the films.
I'm close.
You've never been close. All of your theories have been shit. They've just been terrible. Which one has been close?
My theory of Jarvis becoming Vision.
That wasn't your fucking theory. We can go back and listen. Never heard that theory.
Oh, no, wait. It was, but no, I didn't bring it up on the podcast. Fuck it. That was my Facebook.
Okay,
I put that on Facebook. That was my theory about...
I don't believe him. You can't just suddenly invent something. That's just like saying, my theory is that Spider-Man's going to be in Civil War.
I'm going to defend Pete here.
Why?
When the San Diego trailer came out of the Iron Man helmet turning into the Ultron helmet, he did say that he thought Vision was going to become... Jarvis was going to become Vision.
Yeah, but he meant Jarvis Cocker.
Oh, okay.
No. Jarvis.
Jarvis who?
Jarvis, the tech.
Jarvis the tech?
Yeah, in Iron Man.
I still don't believe him. So what amazing fan theory are you going to have that doesn't work this time?
Well, this is the year of Pete's theories. We should get a little jingle with that. Because Civil War, they're gonna kill off Captain America.
No, they're not.
But they are. They're going to kill off Steve Rogers.
No, they're not.
They are.
They're not.
They're going to kill him off, and he will return for Infinity Part 2.
No, they're not.
That's one theory. Damn.
Right. Okay.
Game of Thrones theory. Jon Snow, he ain't dead. It's all a vision from his
We've
brother.
had this theory
exactly,
already.
But I'm telling you that this is my year.
But we're supposed to be talking about Batman versus Superman.
Exactly. Now. Wait for it.
We're waiting. I don't know if I can handle the suspense.
You're going to have to. Tune in next time. No.
No, don't.
No, but I think I've already discussed it on the previous one, but didn't go into it in too much detail. Doomsday. We've seen him in the trailer, or what we think it is him. Obviously, I'm pretty sure that from what we've gathered, it will be the General Zod's body. They're going to, experiment on it and make it into Doomsday. That's not the full creation that we've seen. Obviously, when he dies, he comes back reincarnated as even stronger. So that's going to be, I think, the then step into the Justice League movie. I don't think with Doomsday is going to be until the end. There'll be a little battle and they make their team.
Is that your theory? Or is that just what you've seen in the trailers? Because it's not really a theory, is it?
Well...
Because we've seen pretty much all of that you've just said.
Yeah, but... Yeah.
So it's just kind of a recap more than a theory, really, isn't it?
But other than that, I have been right about one theory. I have been right because they've mentioned it this week.
Who has?
The internet.
Oh, them.
Them. It was online today that obviously Batman has a dream sequence of...
Does Superman, he now?
Of Superman, obviously controlling or dominating the world, basically, under the control, I think, of Darkseid.
Right.
I called that. I said that was going to be a dream sequence and that wasn't actually going to be anything to do with... Do you remember? You
no.
Do, he does.
No. Yeah. You said he was crawling out of a hole.
He was. He was crawling out of this area and you see him in the trailer going to this desert and obviously then you see...
Darkseid symbol on the ground.
Yeah. But that was going to be a dream sequence. And I called it.
So we know that's definitely a dream sequence, do we? Is it worth actually going to see this film? Because pretty much we know the beginning, the middle and the end, according to you. So
I reckon that it's well worth seeing.
Pete's saving us money.
Yeah, we don't have to go now. So it's like
You still got to go.
it's like an audio book. It's amazing.
I should write this stuff down.
You should.
Yeah, they've already stolen my profile pic idea.
Yeah, they're fucking wankers. And now they've nicked all your ideas for the script. Pretty soon they're going to announce that the Flash is going to be in it.
I called that as well.
God, that's well, because it's the Justice League movie, for fuck's sake.
It's not. It's Batman Superman.
It is a Justice League movie, though, isn't it? Really.
That's what I'm kind of looking forward to more than the film itself. Seeing like Aquaman and the Flash.
I'm not looking forward to seeing the Flash. I think having a different Flash is stupid.
I like it
Why?
because that's Earth 3, isn't it? You could say. We've got Earth 1, Earth 2. The movie's Earth 3.
His fucking fan theories are so weird.
He likes his theories.
He does. He's like the Nostradamus of geeks.
But that's how they can get around it, isn't it?
Is it?
If they wanted to.
Yeah.
If they wanted to. I bet
They're
they
going
don't.
to now. They're going to.
But they don't actually care. So we've got Earth 3. So Earth 3 is supposed to be our Earth. So what's Earth 1? Our Earth, but a bit funnier.
Well, no,
Earth 1 is the Flash.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Arrow,
so that's where
DC,
that's where the funny people live.
Yeah, but then you've got Earth 2 that they discuss in the Flash.
Yeah, but Earth 2 also is where all the nasty people live, and Earth 3 is where Batman is Ben Affleck. That's the worst one. I'd rather go to Earth 2, to be fair. Well, yeah, whatever, really. I love your fan theories, Pete, and I think...
A lot of people do. I get stopped on the streets going, "Are you the guy that fan theory?" I'm like, yeah. Like,
yeah.
cool.
And they go, none of them have been true yet. So we'll see whether your prediction after watching the entire trailer and then just repeating it is actually real.
But Captain America is going to die. They're going to kill him off.
You reckon?
Oh, yeah.
I don't think so. But it'll be too traumatising for children. And you.
If they kill off Spider-Man, I will riot.
I was going to say, I tell you
Just
what
me on my own.
what would be hilarious is if Tom, like in that meme where he lands on top of the thing and Hawkeye shoots him in the head with an arrow. That would just be brilliant. I swear, if they did that, it would be so funny.
You take that back.
You'd cry, wouldn't you?
Spends 2 minutes in the Marvel universe.
And then he has to go back to
Sony.
He has to go back to Sony. That would just be brilliant. I wish they'd do that. Actually, that'd be great. That'd be really funny. Excellent. Yeah. So, but then it could be all of Uncle Ben's vision, and he could actually just wake up having a dream that.
That's a stupid theory because Uncle Ben's dead.
No, he's not though.
That was in his dream.
Yeah.
Right.
So Uncle Ben's actually just dreaming that Spider-Man's been given back to Marvel, and he has to, and he wakes up and he's like, no! They have to make more rubbish films from Sony. So, okay, great. Well, yeah, we've looked forward to that. I'm hoping that they haven't given too much away in the trailers, but I do have a feeling they have really. I mean, you've seen so much of that one battle scene between Batman and Superman.
I don't think we have.
They haven't done a very good job of keeping any of it secret, really, have they? Because
No.
they haven't shown you anything of like Aquaman or Flash at all in the trailer. But everyone knows that they're going to be in the film because they're rubbish at keeping the images off the
But
internet.
we haven't seen the Flash and what it looks like. It's just like, I can't believe they kept Spider-Man secret for so long in Civil War.
There was a picture of, I think it was Jason Momoa and Zack Snyder hugging, and in the background was the Flash costume.
Yeah.
Was it the Flash costume there?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was all black.
it was red.
It was red.
The original photo, it was all black, and then someone photoshopped it all green and said it was a Green Lantern one, and another photoshopped one was it.
I think you're thinking of that thing where you looked at the dress and some people thought it was yellow and some people thought it was black. I think that's what you're getting mixed up there, Pete.
You know me, I'm all about the superhero fashion.
You are indeed. Our very own Zoolander. Well, totally. I don't know. I just think that I do worry when films seem to have the entire film storyline laid out in the trailer, like Planet of the Apes, which I didn't need to see once I'd seen the trailer, because the trailer was like 5.5 minutes long and it had the entire film in it. So wow, that was great. I won't worry about that. And then eventually did watch it, and I was right. It was pretty much exactly the same story that was in the trailer, only condensed into 5 minutes. So let's move on. We've done Superman and Batman, and they will be talked about, I should imagine, in our next podcast. Or maybe not, because our next one is a special one, which I'm going to talk about now. So, for any other business. Well, first of all, before I go into talking about our next podcast and the significance of it, I've been watching Agent Carter, and there's just a little quick thing that I wanted to mention. And in the latest episode that I was watching, which admittedly is probably about 5 episodes back from what's actually been on TV recently, they get a van. It's like a little maroon kind of 1940s van, and the sign written on the side of the van actually says Civil War, which I thought was quite cool. It says Civil War removals or something, but it's written in gold, and it's just called Civil War written on the side of the van. I thought that was quite cute. So, anyway, yes, just wanted to share that with you.
It was very nice. Thank you.
You look thoroughly pleased about that. So,
well, it's now like a sign I can watch and look out for and go, oh, Drew.
You can say, yeah, Drew was right. He has eyes. He could see things. It was brilliant. It's not a theory. It actually happened. So, our next podcast in 2 weeks' time will be our 1 year anniversary podcast. We've actually been doing this roughly every other week for a whole year now.
We survived that long.
We have, and people are still listening to it, which is, well, I don't know if that says more about us or them, to be fair. But yeah, we have been doing it for a year, which is kind of mad. It coincides with Gobsmack Comics' 2nd birthday as well, so it's a time of celebration all round. And what I'm hoping to do is get all of the more regular people for the podcast in the room at the same time. What are the chances?
We're going to need more microphones.
I've got more microphones, don't worry about that.
Okay.
So we'll try and get Chris and Sean and obviously you two, and I might as well be here. I'm the only one who knows how to use the recording equipment, so I have to be here really. And you know, and maybe one or two others if we can afford to buy some more microphones. But we'll see. But so that's the next one. And I think we'll be doing things like maybe going back over the year and seeing what our highlights were, not just of what we did on the podcast, but like the year in geek basically, and hopefully it will be fun, and we should all get drunk and do it, because then it will be fun. So let's do that. So that'll be our next podcast in a fortnight's time, hopefully.
Cool.
So apart from that, have you guys got any other business you want to talk about?
We saw the final what I think is final trailer for X-Men Apocalypse.
All right. Yep.
And I've got to say, I'm from the very first images of Apocalypse, which I thought were terrible, to what he's looking like and sounding like in the newer trailers. It looks a lot better. I'm actually quite excited for the film now.
Right.
So,
do you think they kept him back, or do you think the response to him was so shit that they changed him rapidly?
I think they changed him rapidly.
Do you reckon?
I think they're like, oh shit, we've put somebody who looks like a cosplayer in a film. Quick, change it.
But I don't know, because he still essentially looks the same. He's just a lot fucking bigger now.
Bigger, a bit more. Yeah, I don't know. It could just be like an early rendering, which I'm hoping like the Spider-Man was in the Civil War trailer.
Although Civil War's like only got a month to go, hasn't it? So that's not a particularly early rendering. So.
No.
But anyway, I quite like the Spider-Man in Civil War trailer. I thought it was pretty good.
I like the look.
Fuck you.
No, I like the look. I think the look's really good.
You might as well be fucking cussing Pete's mum. You know that, don't you? It's just like...
I like the look. It just looked like a computer animated character on the screen.
That's because it hadn't fully uploaded to the internet yet.
Oh, okay.
You know, that happens sometimes.
Well, so the rest of the trailer was uploaded except for Spider-Man's costume.
Yeah.
Do you know how computers work, Pete?
Yeah, they load.
Yeah. Yes. Well, yeah, it does look better. There's no two ways about it.
But I'm really looking forward to it as well.
Yeah.
Definitely.
More so than I have done for any of the other X-Men movies since like number 2. Really, I've not been feeling this kind of booted recast thing. I mean, there's been a rumour floating around this last week that after Apocalypse, they are going to get together and bring the X-Men back to Marvel as well and do Avengers versus X-Men. Anybody hear this rumour that was floating around a couple of days ago?
No,
was it on the same website?
Shut up. No, it wasn't. This was actually
the same website that he said that those Netflix series were going to come out.
Look, I got pranked. Anything could happen to anyone. I was excited. I wanted to see those things. Yes, I fell for an April Fool's joke from 2015. So only a year late I was, and I saw loads of things saying that there was all these really cool Netflix shows coming out within the Marvel universe. Shared it with loads of people. Sean then shared it with a load of his groups going, "Oh, my man Drew's given us this information." And all the groups were like, "Your man Drew's a dick." I was like, "Oh no, he's right, I am." So, yeah.
In that split second, everyone knew you better than we did.
Yeah, this is true. Yeah, but hey, we all wanted to believe. But hopefully this... I did say it is only a rumour, so, but that's a rumour that has apparently come from a reliable source that leaked the information about Spider-Man going back to being kind of loaned back to Marvel. Maybe it's because Fox are running out of what to do with X-Men and they feel that maybe putting them with the Avengers would make an absolutely shit-hot movie, which it probably would, to be fair.
If they're going to do it, I want them to do it before
Hugh
Jackman hangs up his claws.
Hangs up his claws. No, because what they're saying is they're going to reboot it completely. So whether they get rid of this, maybe they're expecting this next, maybe Apocalypse isn't very good. You don't know. I mean, if that's a rumour that's coming around already, it could be that they've watched it and gone, yeah, this series is dead now.
Well, I think everything that Fox is doing is kind of just dying, isn't it? I think
Deadpool.
Well, Deadpool's the only thing that's going.
Yeah, but so
Look at Fantastic Four.
Your theory was wrong there.
What theory?
Well, you just said everything that Fox is doing is dying, and he countered that with Deadpool.
Well, technically, Deadpool can die, but he just comes back to life.
Deadpool can't die.
What about, you know what I mean? You can try killing him and he won't die, so...
But then he doesn't die and then come back to life, because he just doesn't die.
Fuck you!
Oh, Pete.
Start again.
But anyway, so it may be that they've seen the early cuts of X-Men Apocalypse and have just said, you know what, this series is going nowhere as it is. And I mean, this is all conjecture, obviously, but we won't know until we actually see it, I guess. And if it did, do you think it would work if they brought X-Men back into the Marvel universe along with all the other shit? I mean, it would make Infinity War a lot more interesting.
Yeah.
Hugh Jackman's just a bit old now, though, isn't he? Really, he's getting there.
If they were, I think that, like you say, they'd have to recast.
Yeah, recast everything, I think.
Yeah.
And except put Patrick Stewart back in as Professor X.
And Kelsey Grammer as Beast.
Kelsey Grammer as Beast. I thought he was a good Beast, actually. So, have we got any other business left, either of you, before we wrap up?
Think of anything else? I know we talked quite heavily about Netflix, but obviously the idea of Hawkeye doing a TV series.
Yeah. Do you think that would work?
I think it could work. I think it would be kind of like...
I'd like to see a prequel-y type Hawkeye before he became the Avenger.
I mean, the thing is that he's a bit of a shit character. I like what Stephen Amell said about him being kind of like shit in comparison with Arrow. I thought that was quite funny. But I mean, if they were to do it, it would be cool to have. I think they would need to have another character in there as well.
Black Widow.
Yeah, I think if they were to do a Hawkeye and Black Widow series,
kind of like the sort of, because they were friends before in the first Avengers, weren't
what
they?
they were doing before the first Avengers movie happened would be kind of cool, and how they got
almost like
brought
a Shield recruitment series.
Yeah, because then they could really tie Agents of Shield
in with
that, but then Agents of Shield isn't on. Yeah, again, it kind of weaves loads of kind of. I mean, you could do it quite easily, I guess, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, does anyone really give a shit about Hawkeye? To be fair, does anyone care enough to make a series out of Hawkeye? I mean, if you were to make it Daredevil-like, if you were to make it Daredevil-like, make it kind of proper hardcore, then it could work.
Maybe they could do it like in flashbacks. He was on some island and they flash back.
Not the fucking island again. He has a hard job getting off that island, Arrow, doesn't he?
He does, yeah.
He's like, how many times can you end up back on an island? He needs to fucking change his tom-tom.
An island that no one has found for so many years. And you can find it 4 times in the space of
no one has found it for so many years, except it's got a secret military base on it. Loads of pirates live on it. It's like there's some weird Satanist shit going on with Constantine. Basically, it's an island that was deserted, except for about 8,000 people that have been on it in the 3-4 series.
On the other side of the island is the survivors from Lost.
No, they're all dead, dude.
Is that your theory?
Yep, that's my theory, and I'm sticking to it. Right then. Well, I think we can wrap it up about there then.
Yeah, I can't think of anything else.
No?
Nope.
Good. Yay. So let's reconvene in a couple of weeks' time for our birthday party. Yay!
Drunken shenanigans.
You can bring party poppers. I was going to say poppers then, but I thought that could have just been a very different party. Yeah, I was just thinking that we probably should have talked about sausage party after that, but then I'm going to leave it there. So thank you very much, guys, for your input once more, and I will see you in a couple of weeks.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye. Yep.
And he asks, what's our favourite crossover event and why?
Favourite crossover event?
Cwossover.
Yeah. I didn't realise we had Jonathan Rossi. So
What's he?
do you want to say that again?
What, Cwossover?
Can you say it again?
I think that's gonna be the name of the podcast. Cwossover.
Cwossover. Our favourite.
Our favourite. Oh, this is a
Son of a
fantastic
bitch.
outtake. Put your teeth in, Pete.